Have you ever looked at a cat? I mean, really looked at one? One minute they're a fluffy, purring loaf of bread. The next, they're staring at a wall like they've seen a ghost. Or maybe they are the ghost. A total mystery wrapped in fur with a little pink nose. They show up. They demand food. They knock things off your counter, and you thank them for it. Oh, thank you, Mittens, for that reminder about gravity. We are completely, utterly, and happily under their spell. The greatest long con in history. And we fell for it. Tiny, adorable aliens living in our homes. Slow blink. I love you. Fast blink. Empty bowl panic. The other 90%? Plotting world domination. Or maybe just thinking about a sunbeam in the living room. They walk into a room like they own it. Because they do. You didn't buy a house. You bought a very expensive cat bed. So, how did this happen? Get ready. We're about to uncover the secret history of how cats tamed us. Alright, picture this. It's about 10,000 years ago. Humans had a brilliant idea. Instead of chasing food all day, why not grow it? We're talking a real light bulb moment. So we started farming and settled down. We built little villages. We started storing grain. It was genius. We had one tiny little massive problem. Mice. So many mice. They were everywhere, eating our hard-earned grain. We were running the world's first and worst all-you-can-eat restaurant for pests. Out in the wild lived the African wildcat. It was a tough, solitary hunter. It was fierce. It was independent. And one thing it excelled at, catching mice. One clever wildcat probably strolled by a human village. It smelled the grain and the mice. It was like finding a five-star restaurant with no wait. The cat thought, hold on, these tall, weird-looking animals are gathering my favorite food. I don't have to hunt for miles. I can just hang out here. Game changer. So cats started hanging around. They didn't move in, they were just nearby. Then something amazing happened. Where the cats went, the mice disappeared. Win-win. Cats got endless mice, humans got furry pest control. The best deal humanity ever made. So now we have cats hanging around human settlements. They're doing their job, catching mice, looking cool. Humans are happy, cats are happy, but they're still not friends. Like co-workers who don't talk at the water cooler. The cats are still wild. They're shy. They're suspicious. Humans are still a little jumpy around these tiny tigers. Don't try to pet a wildcat. You might lose a finger. For a long time it was distance and respect. But then things started to change. Very, very slowly. A farmer leaves extra fish or a scrap of meat. He accidentally drops it. The cat checks around, then sneaks up and eats it. This happens over and over. Humans notice. Friendlier humans equals closer cats. A village-born kitten is braver than its parents. It lets a human get closer. It tolerates a gentle pat on the head. This was the turning point. We moved from business to personal. We saw cats as individuals. Good hunter, a bit lazy, really fluffy ears. We started giving names, not Fluffy or Mr. Whiskers. More like that gray one or Stripey. It was a start. Bonds formed. Cats learned humans meant warmth, safety, and the occasional delicious handout. Slow burn romance across thousands of years. Cats chose us as much as we chose them. Section 4. Who's the boss? Spoiler alert, it's not you. So cats are now officially part of the team. They're in our barns, they're in our yards. Maybe they're starting to peek inside our houses. This is where the power dynamic really starts to shift. Because once a cat decides your house is its house, the game is over. You've lost. You just don't know it yet. They walk in with an air of confidence that is simply stunning. They survey the room. They find the most comfortable spot. Your spot, obviously. They claim it as their own, and you just let them. You can't even be mad. It's impressive. This is where the classic cat attitude was born. I am the ruler of this domain, and you are my humble servant. They act like they're doing you a massive favor just by being there, and we buy it. A dog will greet you like you've returned from a 10-year voyage. A cat will look up from its nap. It gives you a look that says, "Oh, it's you," then goes back to sleep. They have mastered being completely aloof and utterly irresistible. It's a superpower. You buy them expensive toys. They play with the cardboard box. You buy them a fancy orthopedic bed. They sleep on a pile of your clean laundry. You call their name, they stare for 10 seconds, then slowly turn away. They are the ultimate rebels. They knock things off shelves. Not because they're clumsy, but to remind you, the laws of physics mean nothing to them. They have trained us perfectly. We are their butlers, chefs, and personal door openers. If you think our modern obsession with cats is a bit much, let me introduce you to the ancient Egyptians. Those guys were on another level. They didn't just like cats, they worshipped them. For the Egyptians, cats were more than just useful mouse catchers. They were sacred. They were seen as divine creatures, connected to the gods. If you wanted to see the original cat fanatics, go back to the land of the pharaohs. They were posting cat pictures on temple walls before it was cool. The goddess Bastet was one of their most popular deities. What did she look like? A woman with the head of a cat. She was the goddess of home, fertility, protection. Cats were her living representatives on Earth. They were revered, protected by law. Harming a cat could get you in serious trouble. Cats were protectors of the home, warding off evil spirits, and they warded off snakes and scorpions. Living, breathing good luck charms. The love for cats went deep. Families mourned their pets. They shaved their eyebrows to show grief. I'm not making this up. Imagine explaining that to your boss. Sorry I'm late, Dave. Had to mourn my cat, and yes, that's why I have no eyebrows. Cats were often mummified with human-like care, wrapped in linen, placed in ornate coffins, buried with bowls of milk and mummified mice. This was an entire culture. Archaeologists found massive cat cemeteries, hundreds of thousands of mummified cats. It was a national obsession. They saw grace, independence, and a touch of the divine. The Egyptians took it a step further, saw a cat and thought, yep, that's a god. Cats went from helpful co-workers to cherished family members and deities. So the cats conquered Egypt. They were living the high life. But a cat's ambition knows no bounds. Egypt was just the beginning. Their plan for world domination was ready for phase 2. And how did they travel the world? On ships, of course. Cats became the unofficial mascots of sailors everywhere. And it wasn't just for good luck. Remember the mice? Ships were basically floating barns. Ropes, food, rodents. Rats and mice could chew through ropes and spoil food supplies, which was a disaster on a long voyage. Enter the cat. Sailors, traders, Roman soldiers. Having a cat on board was a brilliant idea. The cats kept the rodent population under control, protecting the ship and the crew. They were perfect sea travelers, self-sufficient, didn't take up much space, great at their jobs. So, wherever humans sailed, cats went with them. Mediterranean, Europe, Asia, Africa, cats hopped off ships and started new lives. They were little furry colonists. The Romans, in particular, were big fans. As the Roman Empire expanded, they brought cats to protect granaries across Europe, but not everyone was a fan. During the Middle Ages in Europe, things got tricky for cats. But you can't keep a good cat down. Despite some bad press, they persevered. By the time of the Age of Exploration, cats were back on ships, traveling to even more distant lands. They had successfully spread to every continent except Antarctica. Their quiet, fluffy takeover of the planet was nearly complete. And that brings us to today. The year is 2025. The cat has done it. They have achieved total global domination. They are in our homes, on our laps, and all over our internet feeds. They have successfully tricked millions of humans into providing them with food, shelter, endless adoration. And what did we get in return? The privilege of cleaning a litter box. And you know what? It's a fair trade. The journey from fierce wildcat to professional nap taker is complete. They have truly mastered the art of living. The modern cat is a fascinating creature. It still has all the instincts of its wild ancestors. You can see it when they stalk a feather toy or pounce on a crumpled piece of paper. They are still little hunters at heart, but they have adapted perfectly to domestic life. The sound of a can opener is far more promising than the rustle of a mouse in the grass. A specific type of meow will get them snacks. A different meow will get a door opened. They are master manipulators, and we are their willing subjects. Think about what it means to own a cat today. You don't really own them, do you? You're more like a landlord, and the private chef, and the cleaning staff. They pay their rent in purrs and the occasional headbutt. They live by their own rules. They sleep for 16 hours a day, demand attention on their own terms, and still expect you to be grateful for their presence. Next time your cat wakes you up at 5 a.m. for breakfast, remember the long journey. From the grain fields of the Fertile Crescent to the temples of Egypt to the sailing ships that crossed the oceans. They didn't get tamed. They upgraded their living situation. Now they are the undisputed fluffy rulers of our homes and our hearts. We don't own cats. We are simply staff. And honestly, it's the best job I've ever had.